affectionately call the caregiver benefit. What that means is if you're a caregiver, in your case, your wife, is providing care for a minor child under the age of 16 or a disabled child, then that caregiver benefit is eligible, or that caregiver is eligible for benefit up to 50% of your full retirement age benefit. In addition, your child may be eligible for a benefit off of your record as well. That's going to be up to 50% as well. However, there is something called the family max. So Social Security assigns a family maximum that you're only allowed to pay out to all beneficiaries. Normally that's 150 to 180% of your full retirement age benefit, but in your case, your child as well as your wife may be eligible to draw off of your benefit. And you're exactly right, that caregiver benefit is different from a spousal in that you don't have to be 62 to start drawing a caregiver benefit. Now, let me also mention, if your wife, I know you said she is a homemaker, but if she were working outside the home or even had full part-time employment, then you have to be sensitive to income, because if she makes over a certain amount, then she's not eligible to draw an unreduced benefit. It would be subject to the earnings reduction.
Yeah, Matt, is that helpful?
Yes, yeah, my wife and I, we have 16 children, and our youngest was adopted. The other 15 are natural, but she's been a full-time homemaker. She's never worked outside the home. I tell people I go to vacation every day, and she stays home and works. But
amen, brother.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do we have to say anything to anybody, or when we apply for her benefit, they automatically already know those things? They know we have a child under the age of 16. When we do that, how does that work? And of course, yes, we'll apply for our youngest daughter's benefit as well at that time when I start receiving mine.
Yeah, you'll have to notify the Social Security Administration as to what type of benefit you're trying to draw. So in your case, your daughter would be drawing a child's benefit, your wife would be drawing a caregiver benefit, and you'd be drawing your own benefit. But you would need, and I would recommend calling the Social Security Administration, the 1-800 number, which I have right here, 1-800-772-1213. Or if you have a local office near your home, you could potentially schedule an appointment to go in as well.
All right, Matt. Wow, we covered a lot of ground there. Incredible. 16 kids. God bless you, my friend. You guys, man, it sounds like you've got some of that are natural, some that you've adopted, but no doubt you're making an incredible impact in their lives, and we're grateful that you called today. Call anytime. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Eddie Holland. We're talking Social Security. Eddie's Senior Private Wealth Advisor and partner at Blue Trust, a CPA. Be right back. Faith and Finance is underwritten by Certified Kingdom Advisor Kevin Bruce with Aligned Investment Research, helping families across Collin County honor God by stewarding wealth with wisdom and purpose. Because true peace of mind comes from aligning wealth with God's design. Learn more at align7.com or call 972-972-8465. 972-972-8465. Align is a registered investment advisor.
All right, Sandy Rios with you. One more drama playing out. Is the sky falling? Are we going into a recession? Are you going to lose all of your 401k? Are you going to lose your job? Are you going to be able to afford groceries?
People better be trained to get back into church, Sunday school, read the Bible. That revolution will save this country.
We got a political revolution now. We need a spiritual revolution.
Sandy Rios on Sandy Rios 24/7. Listen on the podcast page at afr.net.
Faith and Finance is grateful for support from Sound Mind Investing. If you have money in an investment account, you know sometimes the stock market can seem like a roller coaster. But it's possible to enjoy both profit and peace of mind as a do-it-yourself investor, no matter what's happening in the market. A short video webinar about that is available at soundmindinvesting.org. Financial wisdom for living well. soundmindinvesting.org.
At FaithFi, we believe that money is a tool to advance God's kingdom. When you become a FaithFi partner, you help more people discover the freedom of biblical stewardship and the joy of seeing God as their ultimate treasure. As a thank you, you'll get early access to our newest studies and devotionals, our quarterly Faithful Steward magazine, and the pro version of the FaithFi app. Become a Faith Fi partner with your gift of $35 a month or $400 a year at faithfi.com/partner.
Every day, AFA offers biblical insight on issues that others aren't willing to touch in the hopes that you'll become a world changer. That's why we're offering an in-depth worldview training course called Activate. 13 different professors teaching 18 sessions, all available online, including a printed workbook to help you apply what you learned and 1-year access to AFA streaming content to give you even more resources. Find out more about Activate and sign up today at activate.afa.net. We are grateful for support from Timothy Plan. Since 1994, Timothy Plan has shared good news with investors and advisors by offering faith-honoring mutual funds and exchange-traded funds. More information is at timothyplan.com. The investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses are contained in the prospectus and summary prospectus available at timothyplan.com. Mutual funds distributed by Timothy Partners Limited and ETFs distributed by Foresight Funds Services, LLC. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal.
This is American Family Radio, the listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
Great to have you with us today on Faith and Finance here on American Family Radio. I'm Rob West. We're taking your calls and questions today. All the lines full because we're talking Social Security. It's amazing, Eddie. By the way, Eddie Holland is here today from Blue Trust. He's our go-to guy on Social Security. It is amazing how many questions there are on this topic, isn't there?
And I think, Rob, it's all because there's just so many questions, or so much uncertainty around the rules.
Yeah.
And one rule doesn't necessarily logically apply to the next set of facts and circumstances, so it can be very confusing.
Yeah. We're going to dive back into these questions. I know one that I get all the time is, I've heard the Social Security Trust Fund is running out, 2034, I think is the latest, but that doesn't mean that they won't pay any benefits if we even get to that point, and I can't imagine Congress wouldn't deal with it. But what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I would imagine, I think it would be a gross, egregious mistake if Congress, didn't resolve this. So I agree with you. I think that something will be done now, maybe an 11th hour type of thing.
Yeah.
Congress is not known for planning super far ahead, so it may be more of a last minute thing. But you're exactly right. If the trust fund were to quote unquote go bankrupt, then that doesn't mean it's a dollar for dollar reduction. What I've seen is roughly 75 to 78% of the benefit will continue to be paid. So it's a reduction, but it's not a full out. Social Security's gone for everybody.
Yeah. The levers that Congress could pull, among others, would be delaying full retirement age, increasing FICA taxes. Those be the two primary?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, interesting. All right, back to the phones here. Texas is where Victoria is located. Victoria, go right ahead.
Yes, I have a question regarding I've been hearing a lot that people are going to be getting checks related to Social Security. My husband and I are 68 and 69. We are getting Social Security right now, but just because of old age, not disabilities. So does that apply to us, or how does that work?
Yeah, Victoria, I'm not aware of Social Security paying any benefits for someone not affected by what Rob and I talked about at the beginning of this program, the windfall elimination provision or the government pension offset. Those payments were made earlier this year, one-time payments for people affected by one of those provisions. But for someone in your situation where you've been drawing Social Security for a while, I'm not aware of Social Security paying a one-time payment for anything.
Yeah, I would check into that a little bit further, Victoria. Perhaps, they're talking about something else. Could be what we were starting with today on the windfall elimination. There are checks going out related to that, but nothing just across the board. If you get more specifics on what you've been hearing, certainly call back and we'd be happy to weigh in specifically, but nothing more broadly that would involve checks going out. Thanks for your call today. Ohio is where Linda's located. Linda, go ahead. Linda in Ohio, are you with us? All right, we've got 3 Lindas on the line. We're going to head to the next Linda in Texas. Linda, go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for taking the call. My question is, in July, I had to change my direct deposit to a different bank because the other bank was closing. Yesterday, I got a letter from Social Security saying that they were going to deduct $200, and it seems the way the letter's written, it seems that they're doing it because I'm changing banks, and that doesn't make any sense.
No, Linda, that doesn't make sense at all. Social Security should not penalize you because you're changing banks. Now, it may be a situation where Social Security tried to deposit your check, the bank was closed, or the bank account was closed. The bank notified them that this account is no longer open. And so you could potentially have missed 1 month of Medicare payments. So your Medicare premium, if you're in the lowest threshold, is $185. So it's possible that that Medicare premium didn't get paid. So they're having to take out 2 months of Medicare payments for this months of benefits. So you should be receiving 2 months of benefits if they haven't paid you, but it could be that that Medicare premium is being deducted as well.
Yes, I'm still working and I don't get Medicare. I'm not on Medicare.
Okay. Yeah, then I'm not sure, without seeing the letter, I'm not exactly sure why they would be subtracting $200. Are you having federal taxes withheld?
Well, okay, so then that was my other question. I owe back taxes for the last year because being a widow, they got me caught up anyway. So I don't know if maybe it has something to do with that. But
Yeah,
I have go ahead.
I was going to say that sounds more plausible. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You finished what you were saying.
That it might be tied to back taxes.
Yes, that they do. They can apply deductions for back taxes. So that's very plausible that that would be what that deduction is.
Would they necessarily do that if I have a payment plan in place?
Well, it could be because, as I said before, if they were trying to make the deposit and they weren't able to, maybe it nullified some of the payment plans that you were making. What I would recommend, Linda, is if you have a local office, you could visit there, or you could call the 1-800 number, because they would have much more information as to why they were deducting what they deducted. But it would have nothing to do with a checking account change that you made.
Okay, well, I didn't think so, but it's poorly written, and that's what it sounded like. Okay,
All right.
so, and I know I can appeal it too.
Yes, you can appeal.
Very good, Linda. Thanks for your call. I know that can be confusing, and hopefully that provided a little bit of further insight there. Let's see. We have another Linda, and this one is in Texas as well, in Dallas. Go ahead.
Hello?
Oh, it looks like, my apologies, I'm misreading it. Lisa, go ahead, in Dallas.
That's okay. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'll be brief. I'm currently working, I'm doing Social Security at this time. I'm currently working as a paraprofessional substitute here in Dallas. In as much, I was trying to find out, will this eventually increase my benefits in the long term when I decide to completely retire, Lord willing, at like 70?
Yes, Lisa. So Social Security factors your Social Security benefits on what they call the high 35. So the highest 35 years of your earnings history. So if what you're currently earning is one of the top 35 high 35 years, then your Social Security benefit will be adjusted every year to reflect the previous year's earnings. So whatever you're making now, if it's one of your high 35, then your next year benefit will be adjusted incrementally to reflect that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thanks for your call today. Eddie, unfortunately, we've got, let's see, all the lines full here, so we're going to have you back as we're about out of time here today. I want to let you tie a bow on this just as we go back to where we started today. For anyone who thinks that the WEP or the government pension offset may apply to them, what is the next step they should take?
There's a few steps, Rob. One of those would be to visit ssa.gov, the website that I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. You can download your benefit statement. You can see any changes or receive any updates. You can also visit a local Social Security office, or you could call the 1-800 number. That number again is 1-800-772-1213. One other option is to talk to a financial advisor. Obviously, a certified Kingdom advisor hopefully has some experience in Social Security planning. But the last word I would leave is beware of scams. Social Security is never going to tell you to pay anything. So So if somebody's telling you have to pay to receive a benefit, that's a scam. Be wary.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. You're exactly right. He's Eddie Holland, Senior Private Wealth Advisor and Partner at Blue Trust. You'll find them on the web, bluetrust.com. Back with Jerry Boyer and Walker Wildman right after this. Stay with us.
Faith and Finance is underwritten by Certified Kingdom Advisor Kevin Bruce with Align Investment Research, helping families across Collin County honor God by stewarding wealth with wisdom and purpose. Because true peace of mind comes from aligning wealth with God's design. Learn more at align7.com or call 972-972-8465. 972-972-8465. Align is a registered investment advisor.
In a worship song and a hymn, it's getting harder to tell these days, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. I'm David Woland. Join me on the next Haven Today as the past and the present come together in a series called Sing the Gospel Story. Haven Today, weekday mornings at 4:30 Central on American Family Radio. Listen online at afr.net.
FaithFi is grateful for support from One Ascent. One Ascent believes that your values inspire why you invest and how they can inspire how you invest. One Ascent's goal is to provide solutions designed for every need and invest in businesses that bless the people and places God has made. They want to help investors do well by doing good, to explore a new way of investing that aligns with your values. More information is available at oneascent.com and by clicking Analyze My Investments.
Feeling burdened by credit card debt? As faithful stewards, we are called to manage our finances wisely. Christian credit counselors can help with a debt management program that allows you to pay off debt up to 80% faster, while honoring your commitments with integrity. Don't let debt hold you back from the life God has planned for you. Take the first step toward peace and financial freedom today. Visit ChristianCreditCounselors.org. That's ChristianCreditCounselors.org.
Great to have you with us today. Boy, we covered a lot of ground there with Eddie Holland, my good friend, our Social Security expert. We'll have him back real soon. I know there are a ton of questions on this topic, but let's turn our attention to the markets, corporate engagement. Jerry Boyer's here. He's our resident economist. Walker Wildman is here, of course, with the American Family Association. Let's start with corporate engagement, Jerry. So when we talk about corporate engagement, we're talking about engaging companies around their practices. Making news today is Tesla's board's asking investors to approve a new pay plan for Elon Musk at about $1 trillion, the number's saying. You have any interest in engaging on that?
I don't think we're going to vote against it in our proxy policy guidelines, or recommend against it, because we don't see an upper limit on CEO compensation. We see alignment as being the main thing. So what does that mean? There's a lot of corporate engagement and shareholder voting that says we don't want the CEO to make too much money. We think that's the wrong way to ask the question.
Yep.
We don't want the CEO to make a lot of money if the shareholders aren't making a lot of money. So we really tend to favor compensation plans. Now we have to look at the details, obviously, but historically, Elon Musk has been a major shareholder. Things go up and down with him. He's kind of in the same boat with shareholders quite often. So we're not going to say that, well, that pay package for a CEO is too big. What we're going to say is, even if the shareholders are losing money, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
So if you use kind of New Testament language, we don't want hirelings. We don't want people who are not in the same position as the people that they're supposed to represent. So I know that a lot of people get caught up on sort of like an envy economics kind of a thing where CEOs make too much money. And my answer to that would be, sure, absolutely. A lot of CEOs make too much money and some make too little. The issue is not how much they make, but how they make it. And if their situation is they don't get paid if we don't get paid as the investors, but they get paid really well. If we get really paid very well as investors, then we tend to be supportive of those pay packages.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like the word alignment, and I think that applies to a lot of the engagement you're doing, whether across the board, including alignment in religious liberties, right?
Right. Now, I would say that with Tesla, I think we are, planning to do and explore doing some engagement with them. We're kind of concerned the degree to which Elon Musk's personal conflicts with the president are bad for the company. Now, this is not me saying I side with Trump over Musk or I side with Musk over Trump. It has clearly been bad for the company when he is having Twitter battles or X battles or whatever with the president of the United States. And I would say that if it were a battle with Obama or whatever, you just don't want to be in an ugly fight with the most powerful man. The richest man in the world and the most powerful man in the world probably shouldn't be fighting if they don't need to be fighting. Right. So, we want to be engaging with Tesla constructively to say, what a wonderful company. Elon Musk has done some tremendous things. Can we please not have unnecessary social media conflicts with the president? They are clearly harming shareholder interests.
Yeah. And so much of what you're doing is around protecting the interest of shareholders, but also advocating for Christian values. Walker, I know we've talked recently just about some of the things you're most excited about as we look to the next season of corporate engagement. What are you and Jerry thinking about working on right now?
Yeah, Jerry sends out kind of a weekly newsletter to a lot of the folks that he works with, of which I get every week. And one of the things that Jerry recently addressed was he built on kind of this Costco discussion of them selling the abortion pill. And thankfully, they've decided not to sell the abortion pill, which was a major win for shareholders and for people of faith that have serious convictions about the abortion pill being sold by these retailers. I think we're going to continue. That's going to be one of the things we continue considering when it comes to shareholder engagement. AFA, American Family Association, is a shareholder of Walmart. Walmart currently, hasn't really answered the question on, hey, are you guys going to sell the abortion pill or not? So we want to put pressure on companies like Walmart and some of these other major retail pharmacies, Kroger, CVS, Walgreens, to not sell the abortion pill. It doesn't make sense. It's not justified from a fiduciary standpoint. From a shareholder standpoint, there's some major legal exposure by selling mifepristone, the abortion pill. So we're going to push that pretty hard in this upcoming season to really encourage these companies to not sell the abortion pill.
Yeah, Jerry, thoughts?
Yeah, Walker, we're going to have the paperwork over to you on that pretty soon. As a matter of fact, that we're working on that today. Walmart should not be, and so far they haven't, right? To their credit, but it's very risky to sell abortifacients. There's the obvious point we've made so many times before: you kill future customers. Babies are good consumers of Costco and Walmart products. A new mom and a new dad buy a lot of stuff for babies and toddlers and children. So if you don't let them be born, that's a customer who's not being born. I'm just straight bottom line, almost grim economic logic is they're not worth anything to you as a customer if they're dead. But also, what is it, 25% of women who take mifepristone end up in the emergency room? That's really risky. And the Biden administration really rushed through the approval of this through the FDA. And, really, any prudent company should be staying away from this. And it's not even a high margin product. So I think Walker's really right to be focusing on that. But just one other thing in terms of AFA. AFA had a really nice victory earlier this year. Now, victory, what you're shooting for is to get enough votes for your proposal that you can bring it back next year. And they did with Apple on the matter of child sex abuse material detection software. What does that mean? There's software that can say, hey, we think someone's sending dirty pictures to kids, and we're going to flag them. Apple had software like that. They deployed it, and they undeployed it. That's a problem. AFA held their feet to the fire. It got enough votes that it can be brought back this year. Walker, you're going to have the paperwork in a couple of days on that to bring it back this year. And the other big topic is AI is a wonderful tool in many ways, but it can also be used for evil. It's powerful. It can be used for good, and it can be used for evil. One of the ways AI is being used for evil is creating child porn or deepfake child porn or celebrity child porn. And that is something I think you're going to see AFA really engaging on a lot this year.
It's excellent. And Walker, and for good reason, this has been a passion of yours to see this really addressed in a way that's thoughtful and provides true protection, this idea of CSAM, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And I've even learned a lot through this whole process. I mean, one thing I learned about Apple is, and I'm a major Apple consumer myself as I'm talking on my iPhone here, Apple blocks pornographic images for people, for teenagers and minors 13 years and younger. Well, but if you're 14 to 18, or 14 and above, really, there's no blocking of pornographic images being sent via the iMessage app. So I raised that when we were talking about CSAM. I raised that with Apple. I was like, hey guys, why are you allowing 15-year-olds to send pornographic images through the iMessages app? And you're not even giving parents an option to block that. So a lot of stuff has come up through this topic, but yeah, you're right. This is a priority and we're focused on it.
Excellent. Jerry, let's turn the corner here and just finish with the economy. Obviously, you and I have been talking about signs of weakness. I think that's showing up this week in the form of the job market. Just bring us up to date.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty weak job market, let's be honest here. Whether you're a supporter of the president or not, or generally of his economic agenda, the numbers are the numbers. And, you know, we can keep firing Bureau of Labor Statistics heads, but these numbers they comport with reality because there's all sorts of surveys of job market, and some of them are public and some of them are private, and they're run by different institutions. So unless we think everybody's cheating on the numbers, we've got a problem with job creation. And would we not expect that? We have a lot of uncertainty associated with the trade war. And you say, well, the trade war is ending. Yeah, it is. But these numbers, we're revising back 3 months. So we're looking now at June and July and August. We now see June as a negative month. We lost jobs. August was July was revised down. It was already bad. This last month, 22,000 jobs only were created. Well, we have a lot of uncertainty in the economy, and that's a problem to have a lot of uncertainty in the economy. The other thing is, no matter where you are on the ICE raids or whatever, if ICE goes to an employer, they go to an auto factory and they arrest a few thousand people and deport them, that's a loss of jobs. Now you might argue, okay, Americans will take those jobs. Okay, great, but they haven't yet. So that's going to affect jobs. So I really think I'm going to be kind of bold here. Regular conservatism worked. Right, Ronald Reagan conservatism worked. When the president is doing regular conservatism, but with his particular ability to fight, that's great. When we start to play with sort of more like big government conservatism, it has effects in the real world, and I think we need to really be careful about that. We need certainty and stability. We can't have trade policy change 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we're seeing that show up in the markets. Obviously, now folks calling for a rate cut. I know how you feel about that, Jerry. We've talked about that quite a bit, but we'll see how all this is going to play out over the balance of the year. Gentlemen, so thankful for you. Walker Wildman of AFA and Jerry Bowyer, our resident economist. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Another week in the books. Here's our goal each day on this program, to just be an encouragement to you. You really have a high calling as it relates to managing God's money, and we want to help you do that in light of biblical wisdom. It's an important topic because we know that if there's going to be a rival to our hearts, it's most often going to be money. And that's the way I read God's word. Just look at the parable of the sower. So each day we're going to show up and try to cheer you on and point you back to Scripture to live out a biblical worldview. Let me say thanks to my team today. I couldn't do this without them. Patty Pumphrey, Devin Patrick, Jim Henry, Taylor Stanrich, and everybody here at Faith Fi. Have a wonderful weekend. Come back and join us next week. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
90.5 KTXG, Greenville, Dallas.
Speak. What would he say? The Bible subjects itself to historical verification.
He says, we saw this.
We go to the Bible wanting to hear what the living God has to say to us.
When God speaks, what does he say?
The God who speaks
Visit stream.afa.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
For American Family News, I'm Chris Woodward. A less than expected 22,000 jobs were added in August. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which says a job gain in healthcare was partially offset by losses in federal government and in mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction. Experts thought we'd see somewhere in the neighborhood of 75,000 jobs. Community members gathered in a North Georgia school today to remember victims of a shooting that occurred a year ago. Fox's Evan Brown reports.
Teachers, police, parents, and friends gathered in Winder, Georgia, near Athens to commemorate a year since a then 14-year-old student at Appalachian High School allegedly shot 13 people, killing 2 children and 2 adults. William Phillip brought his daughter to what became a sizable crowd.
I think it's great, and it always comes out where communities are strong in the wake of disaster.
Teenage suspect is charged as an adult and is still awaiting trial. His father is charged with murder, manslaughter, and child cruelty for purchasing the firearm used in the shooting as a gift for the son.
A conservative activist is calling the Pope to task for embracing left-wing political stances. Chad Groening has this story.
In the wake of the recent horrific shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis, the 13th also addressed the plague of mass shootings in the U.S. Native of Chicago, Leo spoke in English as he prayed for the victims of the shooting during a Catholic school mass in Minnesota, which saw 2 children killed and others seriously injured. Robert Knight is a columnist for the Washington Times.
Pope Benedict, who was the first pope from America, has shown some love for tradition. After all, he says he's a White Sox fan. He came from Chicago. But he's now slipping into liberal politics, blaming guns for the killings of the Catholic Church in Minneapolis by the transgender man.
And Knight says Leo has also said he will continue outreach to the LGBTQ community.
Which is a strange way to talk about a movement based on what the Bible calls sin. You don't see him reaching out to the pornography community or the adultery community or the abortion community. No, just the LGBTQ community seems to have carved out an exemption in the Bible's value system. And I find that unfortunate.
I'm Chad Groening.
A new analysis from the Kaiser Family Foundation says median Obamacare premiums on the Affordable Care Act exchanges are expected to rise 18% next year. Some increases could reach as high as 30%. Twyla Brace of Citizens Council for Health Freedom.
Every year shows us how unaffordable the act really is. And it's not like it should be unexpected when you look at the law itself and when you look at the requirements and the regulations and the restrictions. It should be obvious that the Affordable Care Act was not going to be affordable. Nonetheless, I think it is a surprise to people when they see how unaffordable the Affordable Care Act is. And this year's the study that came out of the Kaiser Foundation shows such enormous increases expected in healthcare premiums due to the Affordable Care Act that I think people will it'll just be a shock because, of course, nobody's income, nobody's wages are increasing 20, 25, 30, or even 18 or 10%. But yet the expectation that the premiums are going to rise somewhere between 9% and 30% in 2026 is something that the American population isn't going to get beyond because they have no choice.
There have been multiple attempts to get rid of Obamacare, but it's never worked. In final news, the NFL season kicked off last night with Philadelphia's win over Dallas, but more people are talking about the start of the game than they are the end of the game. That's because Jalen Carter of the Eagles spit on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott and was ejected. Find more news on AFN.net. Thanks for listening.
In their first book together, Dr. Alex McFarland and Pastor Bert Harper answered 100 Bible questions, and the questions have kept on coming. Now, in 100 Bible Questions and Answers for Families, Alex and Bert equip readers to understand what Scripture really says about God and life. They help to strengthen and grow your relationship with Christ, and the book can help you support and defend biblical truth. 100 Bible Questions and Answers for Families, available now at resources.afa.net.
This is Trivia Friday. The number to call with your question or your answer to a question is 888-589-8840.
You're talking theater or movies.
That's my wheelhouse. So I sold one of my kidneys and we bought us tickets right behind home plate. It's worth it.
Under normal circumstances.
Under normal circumstances.
Bingo. Old dog Kansas.
Right back in it.
Thank you. Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trivia Friday here on American Family Radio. Thanks for listening to AFR. And I'm Tim Wildman with Ed Battagliano. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Tim.
And JJ Jasper.
Great to be here, and I got a little thought for today.
Okay, a little thought of inspiration.
Your future doctor is using ChatGPT to pass med school. So you better start exercising and eating healthy.
Chat
GPT.
GPT.
A lot of people using that now.
And that was quite a car there in the mid '70s.
The Chat GPT. Yeah.
It had a short run.
That's it.
But about a 3-year span there.
Had that real hatchback.
Right.
Real kind of cut off.
Little
spoiler, and it'd go from 0 to 60. They would tell you how
the
fast.
GTP.
How you doing today?
Hi, doing good. How are you?
For a few days, the temperature. I don't think there's no flood or anything. Just what's going on.
Oh, okay. So do you have an appointment with us, or?
No, just came in. I was called in
Okay,
a few weeks ago, and they told me just to come in.
Oh, okay. And you just want us to fill up your tires, or?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
If you can check what's going on.
Yeah. I can. Let me get I'll have someone run the car back to the shop and fill up your tires real quick.
Sure.
Alrighty.
You want me to get out the car and wait for you here?
You can wait on the other side.
Okay. Do you want me to just leave my key here and you have my phone number, everything?
No.
Okay. You can.
It's fine, but we're gonna bring the car back there.
So where should I wait for you?
You're just gonna wait on the other side. So you're gonna walk through these doors, and there's gonna be another set of doors. You're just gonna wait in that glass building on the other side.
Okay. So you don't want to take my phone number or anything?
It'll be at most like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me check it out.